Trustful Juan had some files printed, which included the credit card numbers of some clients, but he forgot to collect them. When he remembered and went to get them, they were gone. By being overly trustful, he now does not know where the client's confidential information is. Trustful Juan thought it was best to try and find out who had taken the documents, so the best thing to do was assume his mistake and report the case. When he was about to do it, Anna, his co-worker, came over and asked him if the papers she had mistakenly taken from the printer were his. For this not to happen to you, try and be very aware of the information you send to the printer, and if you forget or find valuable data in it, report the case to the service desk to come to the best solution. Trustful Juan forgot to lock his computer before going out for lunch, and no one knows who entered his email and sent a letter to Human Resources. When he returned from lunch, he found in his inbox the acceptance of his supposed resignation. By being overly trustful, now his job is at risk. Trustful Juan reported to the service desk that someone had entered his email and then went to Human Resources to comment on the situation and explain that he had no intention of resigning. To avoid situations like this, make sure to always lock your devices when you are out of your workstation. If, for some reason, you forget to do it, try to resolve it as quickly as possible. But if someone accesses your email, contact the technology area through the service desk. Recommendations about your workstation. Place your equipment in a suitable place, ensuring that it is spacious, ventilated, away from direct sunlight, and free of dust and humidity. Avoid consuming food and drinks near them. Keep the desk free of papers that contain sensitive information. These should be stored in a safe place. Never leave your computer unattended. When you move away from it, block the session and secure it to your workstation. In addition, take care of the state of computer equipment, protecting them against bumps and scratches. Anna's computer is very slow, and Trustful Juan, who is a know-it-all, tells her that he can fix it. After a while, Anna returns to her workstation and finds her computer formatted and Juan trying to retrieve the information, but there is nothing they can do. Trustful Juan apologizes to Anna, who is very worried and does not know what to do. He also decided to call the service desk, which immediately sent someone to check the equipment and try to retrieve the information. Therefore, if you find yourself involved in a similar situation, instead of trying to solve it or ask a colleague to help you, it is best to contact the expert area. Don't modify your device's configuration or connect unreliable USB devices. Use only standard corporate software and avoid changing program settings. Also, do not download, install, or share programs not authorized or licensed by the company. Even free software you require for your activities must be approved and installed by the technology management. Remember that no software is free for corporate use, even for personal activities, and the equipment that the company gives you is for corporate use exclusively. Never trust or lend the equipment to third parties, since the company information contained there gets compromised. Finally, do not install corporate standard software on personal computers. Trustful Juan wanted to advance part of his work at home and decided to copy his office computer files on a USB and then to his personal computer. But he did not have the necessary security. That day, the computer was infected with malware, software designed to harm computers, and was maliciously encrypted. By being overly trustful, he now had lost not only his personal information, but also that which he had taken from the company. Given that he had sensitive information about the company, Trustful Juan decided to report the case to the company and call the support area so that the experts could guide him to the best solution, and thus be able to retrieve the information.
Hi. I have a problem. I copied some files to work at home, but when I opened them I got a virus, and I can't find the files anymore.
Hi, Juan. You must report the case to the service desk so that we can guide you in the solution.
I'll send the information right away. Thank you very much.
That is what you should do if you find yourself in a similar situation. And remember, the company files should not be copied to your personal computer. Never use corporate information on shared or public computers. If you access corporate email from your personal computer, do not download corporate files to the computer. Finally, do not make a copy of the programs that the company gives you or reproduce them on computers other than the ones it gave you. Trustful Juan received an email from an alleged client asking for information about the bank account to which his deposits were being sent, because he wanted to change it. By being overly trustful, Juan did not verify this was the real user and sent the information. Days later, he noticed that this person's account had been changed, but that the money had been transferred to another name. Now, the company must take responsibility. Juan immediately reported the case through all the security channels of the company, waiting to solve it. To prevent this from happening to you, always verify who is the sender of the emails and their content. If you receive emails in a language you do not know, or with words and text that seem encrypted, ask if they are important to the company, or if, on the contrary, you should ignore and report them. Make sure that all sensitive information you have is protected. If you have or are having a conference or a simple phone call where confidential data is handled, make sure that no one can hear you. When it comes to email, always check who is the sender and receiver, as well as the email content. Also, do not copy the information on external devices without the proper authorization. And any sensitive information you have on paper, do not toss it in the trash. Destroy it. Trustful Juan has lent his username and password to a colleague to log into his computer because, according to him, his were not working. Hours later, Juan received a call from technical service to ask why he had downloaded software without authorization.
Hello?
Mr. Juan, please. Mr. Juan, we're calling from support area because there's a download log by your username at 2:47 p.m. It is a company software without authorization. Tell us, why did you do it?
By being overly trustful, Juan got himself a verbal warning. Juan contacted support area to explain the situation. Once the case was evaluated, Juan was able to reset his password and understood that these are personal and non-transferable.
Mr. Juan, we hope this type of situation will not occur again. Your username and password are personal and non-transferable.
Thank you very much for your help. It won't happen again.
Do not share your access credentials, username, and password under any pretext. Do not use them to join pages, services, or applications for personal use either, such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Groupon, Home Center, Avianca, or Dafiti. Never write down your passwords on paper or leave them in plain sight. Memorize them. Also, avoid using easy-to-guess or predictable passwords such as Argos 2019 or Argos Group 2019 *. You must combine letters, numbers, and special characters. For example, Trustful Juan received an email with several attached Word documents that say invoice and referral payment. Although he does not recognize the sender, it seems reliable to him and he opens the email. The system prompts him to enable macros to be able to view the files, but by doing so, his computer changes the wallpaper and ransom warnings pop up with instructions for a payment. By being overly trustful, Juan's files have been victims of an information hijacking. Trustful Juan reported the case to both support area and security area. They explained that the email contained malware and that the computer had been infected. They also told him not to make the payment requested on screen under any circumstances. Fortunately, Juan had a backup of his files, and with the technology team's help, he managed to recover the information. Avoid accessing untrustworthy or suspicious web pages. Always verify that in the browser bar, the URL corresponds to the web page you want to visit. Do not download files from your browser or open any .exe file. Also, do not visit sites with obscene content or unknown sites, since images and videos are generally loaded with viruses and other malicious codes. Do not set information classified as confidential through public sites on the internet, especially if it is not encrypted or does not have a security label. Remember that nothing is free on the internet. Finally, avoid downloading any free software from the internet. Trustful Juan wanted to make a joke to his office colleagues by forwarding a chain that had come to him via email. By being overly trustful, he actually sent a link to be hacked and more than one fell for it. When he realized what he had done, Juan sent a second email to all his colleagues apologizing and explaining what had happened. This is why it is important that you always verify the content of the emails, and if by any chance one of these chains reaches you, it is preferable that you ignore or delete the message, thus avoiding the spread of these risks. Never open strange emails where they suggest the payment of an invoice you don't know the source of, or emails with the response of someone you don't know, supposed prizes awarded, or incredible discounts. Don't send or forward email chains. Don't use the reply to all option unless absolutely necessary. Corporate email accounts should not be used to publish or distribute opinions that could be misinterpreted as an official statement of the company or that could negatively affect its image. Also, do not use these accounts to subscribe to services external to the company, such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and similar others. Finally, never click on or download email files that come from untrusted sources. Trustful Juan received a WeTransfer download notice email. Despite not expecting files by this means, he decided to download them. In doing so, the page he was on asked for his username and password to confirm the download. Juan entered his data without a second thought, and thus he handed over valuable information to the hackers, who later on entered his email and stole all his information. Juan had a backup of his files, and with the technology area's help, he managed to recover the information. For this reason, avoid accessing and downloading files you are not expecting. They might be a source of viruses or hacks. Use corporate collaborative tools to keep information secure and backed up, like OneDrive and SharePoint. Never use tools like Dropbox or WeTransfer. Also, use the Office 365 security labels to classify information. Trustful Juan was at the airport when he remembered he was supposed to send a corporate email with important information. To do so, he connected from his cell phone to a public Wi-Fi network and accessed it with the company's username and password. By being overly trustful, Juan learned the next day that he had lost access to his email and therefore to all his corporate information. Do not carry critical information on mobile devices. If you do, encrypt the information using passwords recognized only by you. Also, do not browse through public Wi-Fi networks, especially if you are going to handle corporate information. When traveling with laptops, always turn them off and take them as carry-on luggage. Don't do any bank transactions while connected to unknown Wi-Fi networks. Also, request the Office 365 double-factor authentication in order to keep your information safe. The last several days, Trustful Juan has been receiving emails requesting private information from one of the company's main clients. Given such insistence, Juan responded with the required information. By being overly trustful, Juan learns days later that the client had become a victim of bribery. We are all potential victims of cyber criminal groups trying to attack our systems. How can you identify them? By carefully reading the sender's information and email content, which often has spelling mistakes or information that does not correspond to reality. Therefore, if you detect any suspicious activity in the emails you receive or abnormal behavior in your equipment, contact the technology area through the service desk.